Assalamualaikum and hello everyone, this is Afan Firdausi, a developer at Little Programmers. In this video, we're gonna learn about higher order components, HOC in short. What we're gonna cover in this video are what higher order components is, how do we use it, why is it important, and a little code example of how we can actually implement in our code, and a teeny tiny bit of real life examples of higher order component that we can relate in our life, so that the concept of higher order components gets stuck in your, like pins in your brain properly. So first of all, what is higher order component? Well, from the name we can actually understand that it's a component that has some high authority, right? So it's basically a function which receives components as child and returns, like it does some stuffs inside, because that's what functions are for, right? We do some stuffs inside functions, so we receive components in a function and we do some stuffs inside and return a whole updated component to the user, or yes, to the user. Now, let me show you guys a code example, and then I'm gonna tell you guys a bit of real life stuffs. Now, this is a website I built for you guys to actually understand to explain the higher order component. Nothing much actually, just a navbar, very simple navbar, a banner, and some products, and at the end there's a footer. All right. Now, why did I make this website to explain higher order component? Well, you know, in websites, when we build websites, in most pages we need a navbar and a footer at the top and the bottom, right? In most pages, not in admin dash, not in the dashboards. In the dashboards we don't actually need the normal navbar. Maybe we use some kind of different navbars, but not the ones we usually show in our client sites, right? So in most cases, what we do is, the freshers, what they do is they make a navbar component and they make a footer component, and they call that navbar component and footer component every page they need. So one thing we all programmers know is, to make user-friendly websites, to make user-friendly applications, our code needs to be optimized and reusable. So that, why do we need it optimized? Because that makes the performance of our application better. And why do we need to make it reusable? Because it makes the performance better, and so that other developers can work on my code properly. All right, I'm kind of drifting away from the topic right now. Let's go back to the topic. Now, what the freshers do is they call navbar component and the footer component in every page they need. So instead, that's not actually making it reusable. Though you are making a navbar component and a footer component like separately, you are calling it again and again, which is not a good practice. So what we can do is, we can make a higher order function, higher order component, like I did. This is my folder structure. Let me just show you, let you go through my folder structure. So this is my source. Inside source, I have components, and in components, I have a layers folder, and there I have footer.js, main layout, and navbar. So in my main layout, I am receiving children as a parameter, and I am kind of making a burger with it, right? It kind of looks like a burger. The children's are the filling of the burger. Navbar is the top bun, and the footer is the bottom bun. So what it is doing is, at the first, I told you what higher order components are, right? It receives components as children and then returns something new. So what is it doing? Let's check in my pages. There's my index.js. This is my home page. The page you guys are seeing here, this is the home page. So let's see this part of the code. Just this. Don't look at that, what's under it. So here I have head, banner, and that's pretty much it, categories and products. I don't have any navbar or footer here, but how am I seeing the navbar and footer? Okay, now let's focus at the end. I am calling a getLayout function for my home component, and I am passing page as a parameter, as an argument, and there I'm calling returning main layout and passing my page, the parameter I received, to the main layout. Alright, now what is page? What is page? Page is my home component. Page is my home component. So any pages where I need this navbar and this footer, I'm just gonna do this these few lines, and that's gonna be it. This is just an example of higher order component. There are a lot more examples. So suppose you have a contact us page or maybe an about page where you need the navbar and the footer at the top and the bottom. So what you're gonna do is about.getLayout function getLayout. You're gonna the parameter is gonna be page, and you're gonna pass that page in your main layout. Here our main layout is our higher order component. So it's actually making my code more cleaner and much more efficient. So this is just an example of higher order components. Another example could be authorization. Now, how are we gonna do that? For authorization, maybe in an application, it could be in a website, or it could be some other stuffs. Some other applications. In every kind of application we need higher components. So in that application you have some protected routes. Maybe you have an admin dashboard, maybe you have some sort of chatting system and stuff. So to access those pages, our user needs to be authenticated and authorized to log in to actually access those pages. So how are you going to do that? Are you going to call that are you going to call that authorize function in every place you need? That's actually not efficient. What you're going to do is you're going to make that authorization function a higher order component, and you're going to pass all the pages that needs authorization. You're going to pass those components to that authorization higher order component, so that it's gonna inside that function it's gonna check if that component is if that user or the component you are trying to access is authorized or not. If it is, it's gonna return you that. If it's gonna help you access that protected page, else you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to access that. So that's actually a main idea of higher order components. Now, it could be a bit complicated if you hear it right now. So I'm just going to give you a real life example. So nowadays most of us have a bank account, right? But in ancient times, in the old times, what did our ancestors used to do? They had money, they had gold, but how did they store them? How did they secure them? They dug hole under their house, under their huts, and maybe they had some kind of treasure box. Yeah, and they would lock those valuable stuffs in that treasure box, or kind of store those money and golds under their house, under soil, and put soil over it again. So what would be the problem then? For example, I'm an ancient person. For example, just an example, I'm an ancient person, and I have a lot of money, and I just dug a hole under my house, and I put soil over it. And after a year, I need those money, but I don't actually remember in which part of my house I put those money to. So what do I have to do? I would have to I have to dig all over my house to actually find my valuable stuffs. So that's pretty bothersome, right? So what happened in this era is we can just store our valuable stuffs, maybe important documents, the golds, diamonds, or whatever valuable stuffs you have in bank, because it's not going to be too much hassle to find them back. There are a lot of banks. There's Exim Bank, Islamic Bank, there are IBOs, and lots of banks. You can just make an account in one of the bank and store your stuff there, right? And probably after a month or maybe 5 years later, you need those back. You can just go to the bank. If you have your proper authorized, if you're authorized, you're going to be able to find them back. So what our bank is doing here is, bank is acting as a higher order components. It's taking money if we compare, if we take bank as a higher order component and money as our component, money as our lower order component, we are sending money in bank. We are sending money in our bank, which is our higher order components. And what bank is doing, what our higher order component bank is doing is it's securing my money and it's returning my money back if I need it. Right? If I need it, if I say that bank, give me my money, it's gonna take my my account information and check if I'm authorized. If Afnan is authorized to take money from Islamic Bank, then it's gonna return me my money. So bank is acting as a higher component. So I hope that helped you understand even a bit of HOC. And if you guys still have problems, you can always ask in the comment section. I'll do my best to clear your confusions and stuff. So that's it for today. Stay tuned with us, stay tuned with Clever Learners, and inshallah we'll see you in another video. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.